everyone! Today we're going to make a very simple recipe, Korean sausage stir fry. This recipe is my favorite for brunch. We will need 1 onion chopped, 1 green onion sliced into small cuts, 1 carrot chopped into small cubes. I only have half, so that's what I used. And the main ingredient is the sausage. Ideally, Korean small sausages should be used, but I can find it in my local grocery store, so I used the one I got from Walmart. I just cut it into half, and I'm using the entire package, so I'll have some leftovers. It's important to make small cuts into the sausage so that the sauce will spread through the sausage. It is important to make the sauce beforehand, to mix it thoroughly and to avoid burning the sauce as you add each ingredient. In a small bowl, add 2 tablespoons ketchup, 1 tablespoon oyster sauce, half teaspoon gochujang. The original recipe calls for 2 tablespoons gochujang. I don't want it too spicy, so I'm just using half teaspoon. We need 1 teaspoon minced garlic. I always use the one that comes in a jar, so it's easier for me. Add 1 tablespoon of sugar and mix thoroughly, making sure the sugar is dissolved. Heat the pan and add a tablespoon of oil. Add the sausage one by one to avoid oil splatters. Stir the sausage for a few minutes to cook evenly. When it starts to change color, add the carrots, and after 2 minutes, add the onion, and then the green onion. Then add in the sauce and stir thoroughly. Remove from heat and transfer to a plate and enjoy.
I spent so long just wondering. For years I was adrift, directionless and wayward, lost.
After eating brunch, my husband and I decided to drive around the countryside for a change of view and just to get away. This was filmed last week of April, and during the time when everything was still shut down except grocery stores. We saw the ice breaking apart in the river, so we stopped and watched it under the bridge. It was a nice feeling seeing the snow finally going away. We always have a long winter where we live, so we're always excited when the snow is gone, because that means warm weather is coming soon. To us, that means longer daylight. At the peak of summer, the sun sets here at 11 p.m. That means we can travel. Well, except this year, because of the COVID. We'll see how it goes. We can barbecue in the backyard, camping, and do a lot of activities. We saw this old dilapidated house up on a smaller hill. We had to stop because my husband loves taking videos of the old and abandoned places. In fact, he has a YouTube channel about exploring, travel, and such. I will put the link below if you want to check it out. This day is so windy. It's so hard to keep my hair away from my face, but it's very refreshing. While the husband is filming for his content, I'm also filming and having fun on my own.
Told me that when the race is done, the finish line's behind you, and you have lost or you have won. The crowd goes home and you're still standing on that empty track.
We're back on the road again and heading towards an old and abandoned school. On the way towards that place are a few beautiful spots, ponds on both sides of the road. It looked really nice. We saw some ducks and geese swimming and having a great time. The next day, I stayed home because it rained all day. So I decided to make Mille-Feuille Nabe. Here, I'm going to show you two different ways of making the broth. First is by using a dashi stock powder. Prepare 2 cups water and add in 1 tablespoon of hondashi powder. That's it. After that, we are ready to season the broth. The second way is by using a few dried anchovies with the guts removed. Add 2 cups of water to the pot. I'm using a strainer for the anchovies because they're tiny. Add in several pieces of dried kelp. You can usually find this in the Asian store. You can also add in a few slices of radish, but I didn't have any, so I skipped it. Put the pot in the stove and bring to a boil. When it's boiling, remove from heat and strain the broth to remove the kelp and anchovies. We will season the broth later. I'm using 1 green onion chopped. I will use half for the recipe and half for the dipping sauce later. This recipe calls for sake, a Japanese rice wine, which I don't have. So I'm substituting 1 tablespoon rice wine vinegar mixed with 3 tablespoon water. I will use this mixture later to season the broth. Make sure to wash the cabbage before slicing it. Since I'm going to eat this by myself, I'm only using a quarter of the cabbage. I'm using pork meat for this recipe that's thinly sliced. I would usually go to our local meat butcher to get this kind of sliced meat. Now it's time to layer the meat and the cabbage. Just put pork on top of the cabbage. And when you're done, just cut it into 3 slices. If you have remaining cabbage, you can also slice it and put it in the middle of the pot so it's full and tight. We'll put this aside for now and season the broth. Add 3 tablespoons soy sauce to the broth, then add 2 tablespoons of the rice wine vinegar and water mixture. A tiny bit of salt. It won't get salty because the cabbage will release of water, so don't worry. 1 teaspoon minced ginger. Mix thoroughly. Then pour the seasoned broth to the cabbage and the pork layer. Put the pot in the stove and bring to a boil. Let it boil for 3 minutes and remove from heat. This recipe is very good if paired with rice. Prepare a dip made with 2 tablespoons soy sauce, half of the green onion, and lemon. The lemon is optional. And that's it. We're done, guys. Hope you enjoy this delicious recipe.